guys, how's it going? As promised, to close out OCD Awareness Week, today's video is going to be a Q&A. I didn't get that many questions, but that's okay. If you guys think of any other questions, same as always, you can put them down in the comments, you can message me on Twitter, I'll still answer them. But today's video is just going to be answering the questions that I did get and just chatting a little bit. Before we get into it, I do want to say thank you guys so much for all of the amazing support this whole week for OCD Awareness Week and all the great feedback I've gotten on my videos, and it has just been so great. I love that I'm able to talk about this kind of thing, and even though this is like a booktube and authortube channel, it's nice knowing that I can talk about other things and that, you know, I still have the support of people, and it's just great. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you before we get into today's video. My first question came from Don Kozak. She asked, what sort of things can friends do to make things easier for someone with OCD? First of all, I love this question just because it's just such a happy and wholesome question of hey, I want to help, and anytime I see any question like this, I just get really happy. Honestly, the best thing you can do is, it's a delicate balance, but don't encourage somebody's OCD, but don't prevent it, if that makes sense. So let's use my having to eat colored candy in a specific order as an example. And let's say that my friend gives me a handful of Smarties. It wouldn't be helpful for them to try to cater to my OCD, if they were to specifically make sure that I only got my 3 safe colors. That wouldn't help because that's encouraging the habit, and that's bad. You don't want to do that. But it would be just as harmful if they, for example, gave me only my dangerous colors, or if they tried to stop me from performing my ritual. Because OCD, you really have to take at your own pace, which is the same with a lot of recovery things, especially with mental illness. The main treatment for OCD is exposure therapy. So it's just baby steps of getting a little bit more uncomfortable each time until you're able to face your fear, break your habit, etc. If you just stop doing your habit, it's not going to work. You're going to feel too anxious, you're going to shut down, it's just not going to work. But if you're catering to your habit, you're teaching your brain that, this is right, that this is how the world works, and you're just reinforcing that. So it really depends on where your friend is at in their recovery, but just help them with the baby steps. Don't push them one way or the other. Also, taking them seriously without validating the ritual itself. If I tell somebody I have to eat candy in a certain order and they laugh at me, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt my feelings, because remember, we know that our habits make no sense. So if somebody, is laughing at me, then that's just gonna hurt me. But if someone's like, oh, well, you know what, that I definitely agree with that, I can see how you would think that, and I have read a study about why you should eat M&Ms in that order. I don't know, maybe that example doesn't work for this, but you know what I'm trying to get at. Don't feed the fears, but don't brush them off. And one last thing that my friends have done that was really helpful for me isn't necessarily OCD specific, but if your friend is in therapy, check in on them after their therapy appointments, because therapy is great, and it was the best thing I've ever done for myself. It was so immensely helpful, but it was freaking hard, especially in the beginning. It's draining and it's terrifying. So having friends that just checked in and said, hey, how did your therapy appointment go? Or, hey, how are you feeling? And genuinely meaning, how are you? Was just, it really meant a lot knowing that I had my friends there. There was a couple times that I had rough appointments and I needed a distraction after, so I'd call up one of my friends and then we would just hang out, and we wouldn't talk about anything mental illness related, nothing like that. We would just go and get groceries or something, but it was what I needed in that moment. And there were some times that I just wanted to just be completely on my own, turn off my phone, turn off all the lights in my house, and just hide in my little bubble. But just checking in, especially after therapy appointments, and just saying, hey, I'm here if you need me. Just being a good friend, especially in those times, is so helpful. The next question is from my friend Evie Redding. She asked if I had any recommendations on genre fiction or nonfiction OCD books. Not really. So there's my OCD recommendations video for novels with OCD, And I do think that Kissing Doorknobs is the best OCD book that I've ever read. As far as nonfiction goes, the one book that I found really helpful for me, granted it's the only one that I tried, the Mindfulness Workbook for OCD. This is one that my therapist recommended to me. There was a couple different ones that she had, and we just kind of flipped through them to see which ones like applied the most to me. This I found super helpful. It's what it sounds like. It's just a workbook. Like there's a lot of informative information about OCD, but also like different little like things you can fill out and little worksheets in there. I found this was really helpful. We worked on a lot of this while I was in therapy, and then I brought it home and did some more work as homework. But just learning more about the mental illness was really helpful. I don't think this would necessarily help somebody who didn't have OCD because its main focus is as a workbook. But if you do have OCD, I think that this book is definitely one to look into, and also mention it to your therapist if you look into it and you do think that it's something that may help you, because my therapist was able to get a hold of it at a better price. She had some resources and some people she could call in, and it was also helpful to go through this with her. That way, it just didn't feel as intimidating. We could take it at the pace that we both agreed was comfortable for me, and that way she just kind of held my hand through some of it, and that was really helpful. So that would be my only nonfiction OCD book that I would recommend. Aside from that, just like understanding OCD, I would definitely say Kissing Doorknobs is the best one, and Turtles All the Way Down by John Green is a really good one. That one focuses a lot more on the anxiety aspect of OCD, and it does the anxiety job really well, but those would be my top recommendations. And the third question is from my friend Tanya. She asked, have you found help for your OCD through reading or writing? I know that those help many people with their anxiety, for example. Do you have the same experience? If so, how do they help you? With reading, specifically Turtles All the Way Down and Kissing Doorknobs were really helpful for me as far as accepting it within myself. But reading in general, I found it was just a nice escape, and even though they didn't have a direct correlation with my OCD, I did find it was really nice to, if I was just having an overwhelming day, just, you know, shut out this world, just pick up a fantasy book and disappear into their world for a little while, where I didn't have to worry about all the things in my head, and where I'm reading something, and usually a more complicated book, like something with really intense world building or a complicated magic system, I could focus my brain on that world and those rules, not the rules that are inside my head. And I found that was really helpful. As far as writing goes, yes, in a couple different ways. I've only written a character with OCD-like tendencies once, and honestly, I just wasn't really happy with the way the story was going and how the character turned out, so I scrapped that idea, but it's definitely something that's on my writing bucket list. But I found that was kind of helpful just to explore OCD in a more hands-off way, if that makes sense. Like, while I was writing it, I was able to kind of process some of my own thoughts and feelings about OCD, but because it was the character's OCD, not mine, I was able to kind of detach myself a little bit, and I didn't have that anxiety about it. Like, when my character had something trigger her OCD, I could kind of see it from someone else's point of view because she had different triggers than I did. So it was just a different way to explore it, and I did find that really helpful. But I really do want to someday write a story with a main character with OCD and really explore it thoroughly. First of all, it's something that I don't read enough of, so might as well write it myself. And I think it'd be really helpful to explore, and I just think it'd be fun, it'd be helpful, and maybe other people would enjoy reading it and understanding it, so it's definitely something that I would like to write eventually. It just hasn't really fit into any project yet. So that is all for today's video. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video and all of my OCD related videos this week. It was so nice, and I am so happy that you guys enjoyed them. And like I said, this week or any other week, if you have any OCD related questions, I don't mind answering any questions, even if they're weird or specific questions. Like, if there's anything that you're wondering and you want someone to ask, you can always message me on Twitter or wherever. But that is all for today, so please click the like button if you enjoyed this video to let me know. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all of my videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And also don't forget that I'm going to be doing daily vlogs in November Probably twice a week there'll be either BookTube or something other than Nanowrimo, but at least 5 days a week I want to do something Nanowrimo related. So if that's something you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe. So I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, have a great day. Bye!